Three words perfectly summed up today's first day of training camp for the Eagles. Ahead of schedule. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Dingbat here. So the Eagles took the field on the first day of training camp, and three words perfectly summed up the day. Ahead of schedule. And I'm not just talking about one Eagle or two Eagle, but the whole team seems to be ahead of schedule from where they were a year ago. This team looks like they're not going to miss a beat. This team is primed. I mean primed to go back to the Super Bowl. I am feeling great about this team, as you can tell. And why shouldn't I? This team is stocked. They're talented. And look, they look very, very focused. They look like they got their priorities straight. They look like they put the Super Bowl last year behind them, and they're ready to move on. Now, as you guys know, the Eagles took the field today, and as we always do when we talk about training camp, let's look at the injury report. Okay, so injury report for the Eagles today, according to Tim McManus. Did not practice. Jalen Carter, shoulder. Kenyon Green, knee. Limited was Jihad Campbell and Cam Jurgens. Now, a few things here. Jalen Carter and Kenyon Green, not serious injuries, okay? They were held out precautionary reasons. Nothing to worry about. As far as Jihad Campbell and Cam Jurgens goes, both coming off off-season surgery, they're going to ease them back in as well. Now, the great news is Jihad Campbell is back. He is practicing and partaking in training camp from day one. We were told that he may miss the first few weeks of training camp. Not the case. Now, he was limited in some of the things he could do, but he's still out on the field. And then we have Nakobe Dean, who was put on the physically unable to perform list. As people text me, of course, when I'm filming. But Nakobe Dean, he's going to start off on the physically unable to perform list. And we'll see when he comes back. By all accounts, from him walking around, moving, lifting weights, he looks like he's recovering okay. So we'll have to see. Zach Berman, as I said before, with the other guys, Carter and Green are not significant injuries. Otherwise, they'd start camp on the injury list. Campbell and Jurgens will have their snap count managed, and they did. So, really, Eagles, for the most part, are pretty healthy. Of course, we got the Nakobe Dean thing, but really, the big news today was Jihad Campbell. Jihad Campbell went out there, and he participated in most of what the Eagles did. Even on 11-on-11s, he was lining up with the second team. You had Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Zach Bond were your starting linebackers, and then you had Smile Mondon and our boy Jihad Campbell. They were second team. Now, the one thing about Jihad Campbell, I mean, if you look at the clips here, I mean, he's a big dude. He is a big dude, a lot bigger than you think, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they use him. I think that the linebacker situation with Trotter Jr., who I believe is a quality starter, I think he's going to be able to be a starter. Nakobe Dean, when he's healthy, you know what he can do. And then Jihad Campbell. What are they going to do at the linebacker spot? Because for once, the Eagles are actually really, really deep at linebacker. But as we said, Jihad Campbell is ahead of schedule, and we're going to see how much Trotter can do in terms of winning or holding down that starting spot. It's going to be interesting. As far as like the secondary went, you had Quinyon Mitchell. He was on the outside along with Keely Ringo. Now here's the thing with Ringo. Ringo led up two big passes today. Okay, one, Terrence Marshall beat him. people were flipping out online about it, flipping out in my stream about it, like, oh crap, we got to get rid of him, he stinks. And then he got beat by A.J. Brown, which was a perfect pass from Jalen Hurts and a perfect catch from A.J. Brown. And I think people are overreacting with Ringo, okay? Look, I'm not saying Ringo is going to be the guy, but you can't possibly know whether he is or he isn't off the first practice of training camp, where we haven't even put the pads on yet. Just remember, going through training camp, that last year at this time, you had Zach Bond starting and you had Devin White starting. And Nakobe Dean, from all accounts, was quiet, wasn't doing anything. We didn't even know if he was going to start. Then you go into the public practice. We all watched. He was missing tackles. Gainwell was beating him left and right. And then come week one, he's starting, he comes right in, and he's perfectly fine. So we can't judge things by one practice, okay? Will Ringo be the guy or not? I mean, look, I think he will. I like Ringo, but time will tell, And if he's not, then Adoree Jackson's going to have to step in. Now, they did split some reps, okay? So we'll see. As far as the safety position goes, there were some interesting things that happened there too. Sidney Brown started with the ones. However, he did split that. Mukumba actually took some reps with the starters as well. And I'm a little surprised by this, because usually if you look at what Fangio did like last year with Quinyon Mitchell and some of the young rookies, early in camp, they were second team for the most part. They didn't get as many reps with the first team until you got a few weeks in. Mukumba is getting first team reps already. He's splitting reps already, which tells you that he's probably got the inside track to wind up being the starter if everything goes according to plan. We're going to see. However, I said the words of the day today are ahead of schedule. Jahad Campbell ahead of schedule. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. ahead of schedule. Cooper DeJean ahead of schedule. Now, what am I talking about with DeJean? Well, DeJean was playing some safety in base defense. One of the things the Eagles and Vic Fangio has said that they want to do is they don't want to take Cooper DeJean off the field. Okay, so he's in the slot corner. You go into a base D. They don't want him coming off the field. So he's essentially learning to play other positions. And I've said this about DeJean since the day the Eagles drafted him. He is like a Swiss Army knife. He is the kind of guy that's got to play all over on the defense. You need him at safety, you play him at safety. You need him in the slot, you play him in the slot. You need him on the outside, you play him on the outside. He's got to learn all those positions to utilize his talent and his ability. The Eagles don't want to take him off the field. So Cooper DeJean saw some reps at safety in the base defense, which I think is really, really interesting, okay? When the Eagles did start their 11-11 drills, you had Ringo and Quinyon on the outside. Sidney Brown started, like I said, at safety, but he did wind up subbing in and out with Mukumba. And then Trotter and Bond were your starting linebackers. Now, Moro Ajomo started in Carter's absence next to Davis. Davis, absolutely tremendous shape. Davis does not look like a defensive tackle. They've got him listed at 335 right now. I can't imagine he's over 325. I mean, Davis looks thin. And yes, Davis has come in before, and he's lost weight at the start of training camp. We have talked about it before. However, one of the things with Davis is we saw that during the season of those years in which he came in a little thinner, he would always seem to gain the weight back and maybe some more by the end of the year, okay? Last year, we saw him get into his biking Pilates, riding a bike on water with skis, doing push-ups and sit-ups all at the same. He got into some aerobic thing, okay, last year during the season, and he got addicted to it, and he started getting really well-conditioned at the end of the year. That's why you saw him so dominant in the NFC Championship game, so dominant in the Super Bowl. He had big games, okay? Well, he came in even better shape. Now, if you get Davis and you get Carter and those guys live up to the potential and they live up to their first-round billing, especially Davis, this is going to be one of the sickest defensive lines in football because you got Nolan Smith Jr., which I believe he's a double-digit sack guy, and then you got Jalen Hunt. Now, here's another guy who he oozes star potential. Star potential. I said this since the first time he spoke. I said there's something about this kid. He's going to be a star. We saw him kind of emerge like Jordan Davis in the playoffs last year, and Nolan Smith as well. And he really put up good numbers in the playoffs, and he had a dominating day today, okay? So much so, this is what Jordan Mailata said about him. Here's Mailata on Jalen Hunt. He's going to be special. Man, his burst, he has tendencies like Micah Parsons. Just to be able to cut on a dime like that. How did I go from Josh Sweat to Jalen? It's crazy. I'm like, Howie, give me a break for once. Jesus, Jalen is going to be a star, man. And I totally agree. Jalen Hunt is going to be a star. You can tell there was something about him. But if you look at the way he played at the end of the year, he's another guy that was really dominating. Another guy that you can look and you can say ahead of schedule. So I look at this defense and I just see potential after potential. Now, there's the one minus you want to say today was Ringo. Okay, whatever. Early in practice. But I think there's more positives going on than negatives, okay? As far as the offense goes, you know what the offense is. We know how good they are, okay? As always, Elliot Shore-Parks does his training camp quarterback statistics, which are totally meaningless, but I find it funny that he does it anyways, right? So he had Jalen Hurts going 14 of 15 today, 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and he gave him a grade of a B. If you go 14 of 15, how can you get a B, okay? Now, he threw a really nice pass down the sideline to A.J. Brown that beat Ringo. Tanner McKee beat Ringo, too, on a pass to Terrence Marshall, which apparently Tanner McKee was the pass of the day, okay? So the offense is where it needs to be. And you know, if you listen to the press conferences of Hurts, of A.J. Brown, of these guys, man, they all seem, and Saquon Barkley, they all seem to be putting the Super Bowl behind them. And this is my biggest concern about the Eagles going into the season. Can you put the winning behind you and refocus yourself onto this year? And it looks like they're able to do it, okay? It's funny to me because, you know, people say all the time, Jalen Hurts this, Jalen Hurts that. Jalen Hurts is a winner. Jalen Hurts wants to win. That's what he cares about. And listening to Jalen Hurts in his press conference today, talking about how, you know, getting the ring was nice a few days ago, but that's something in the past. They're not going to focus on it. Okay, that's what winners do. That's how winners speak. And then you get a guy like Dak Prescott, who at the end of the year last year, all he wanted to talk about was that the Cowboys are close to the Eagles because he has a 9-4 record versus the Eagles in his career. It's like, here's why this guy loses. It's the total choker mentality. And then you get Jalen Hurts, who's the total winner. So really, day one of practice, I think that the saying is ahead of schedule. We look like we got guys coming in from Jalen Hunt to Jordan Davis to Cooper DeJean to who else? Makuba to Jeremiah Trotter Jr. to Jahad Campbell. They're all ahead of schedule, and that's a really, really good thing. I will be live tomorrow for day 2 of practice. Hope you guys will come hang out with me. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. And remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. Dak, back to pass. He's looking. He looks. He fires. And it is picked off. Again, another interception. He's in rare season form. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.